you always supportive right from the beginning?
I think that's an easy one. I was absolutely supportive for the workouts in the beginning. I knew that she wanted to do something kind of productive to make a little side money, but mainly it was the workouts. I didn't care if the business was successful because I was making money and had been supporting us for 2 or 3 months while we had a newborn before that. So I was like, yeah, it'd be nice if you could make some money, but you're probably gonna be out there and get a job. So if the business didn't work out, that was still my A plan. And if anything, she was gonna end up a little healthier in the end. So you're still working out. She's not selling Tupperware or anything like that. She's like, why do we have all this Tupperware? She's like, oh no, I lost 5 pounds. So I was like, no, it was good. Like, if the business didn't work out, she still lost weight. It's a win-win. So I was always supportive. I just didn't think we were gonna make any money. So there you
go. Steve?
Yeah, I was supportive before I knew I was supportive. Jamie signed me up on her own. She got my credit card.
She knew your search.
Yeah, that's why I really have no idea how long I've actually been a coach. But she was, we went to Michigan State and she was in kinesiology, so personal trainer and everything like that. So when she started coaching, it was just kind of like one more of her jobs, so I really didn't pay attention to it. And she loved it, so I guess I was supportive in essence. I never really doubted it until you started paying for stuff for me, and then I thought it was even better.
Sweet. Yeah, absolutely supportive. You know, the workouts were fun. It's like, I'm gonna talk about this lesson check, and I think I'm gonna buy this thing. That's right. Being a teacher, we don't make a ton of money, so it's like, challenge pack, it's a stupid Shakeology thing, I don't know. And then she made $75 in a week or something. She's like, what's this? Awesome, let's go out to dinner. So it was great. No, really, that's what we said. No, actually.
Legit.
Then she convinced me to go to Summit in Vegas, and that was kind of a game changer. It's a real deal.
Yeah. Taking your spouse to Vegas or Summit or wherever Summit happens to be, I know that was kind of a game changer for my husband too. So if anyone has kind of questions, raise your hand and I'll start running around the room, but I'll leave you guys with one more. What's the main thing she does when she's stressed out about her business? And kind of how do you help with that? Keep it PG-13.
Just try to listen, I guess. She does all of the legwork, communication with all sorts of people, so I just try to listen, explain to her. Well, I guess my thing is, any business she were to start, if she were to open a dog grooming business or whatever the heck she would want to do with her life, there'd be ups and downs with that and the overhead that would be involved in that. I tell her, you know, if this explodes tomorrow, we're still ahead of the game, you know, we're healthy, we made some money, we had some fun, we made some new friends. And so if everything implodes tomorrow, life is still good. We're not out a ton of Tupperware anymore. You know, just listening.
Same with me, just listen, talk through stuff. For a long time I was listening and like giving my opinion. I had no clue what I was talking about. But I've came a long ways in the last year or two, so there you go, good massage, I guess. Get over it. It works.
I've learned to understand that Anita takes a very different approach to me when she gets frustrated in business. If I was working a job and I was super frustrated, I'd be like, you know what? Let's go to a movie, let's have dinner, let's relax, spend some time together, and calm down, take a fresh look at it tomorrow. She gets angry and she works harder all night until she's like, there, I did it, So it's not like, oh, let's just relax, you know, we'll chill, watch TV. No, I'm gonna watch TV by myself that night, and I'm gonna let her just work. And that's how she gets through it. She just works through it. Am I wrong?
There's usually a tantrum on the floor. First it's like, get the whiskey. And then it's like I roll around and I call everybody and I'm like, what are you doing? And then I just lock myself away. Yeah.
zone, a work zone at the computer.
Yeah, you usually can. But we had a big struggle moment, which is where she was working very hard and she was laser focused, and I was like, you need to spend time with me, you need to spend time with your daughter, family time, all this stuff is important as well. And I've said it a couple times of these. There was one point where I turned our Wi-Fi off, and she's like, the internet doesn't work. And I was like, oh, let's watch another movie. And it worked. So finally, I had to sit her down, just like when she started the business, she had to sit me down and be like, look, this is something I want to do. I need to put time towards it. You need to be understanding, because I was a self-employed photographer at that point. So I was like, I work in that room as well. You need to watch the kids. She's like, well, I want to work now too. So we had to divide time. When I was just stay-at-home husband, wasn't doing photography anymore, she's like, cool, I can work all the time. So no, because you have to now take time to spend family time. So once I made it clear, like, you can work as hard as you want in the car, on your phone, we'll sit in silence, I'll just drive. When we get somewhere, it's family time. You know, so I had to make that clear, that once you kind of saw that you needed to divide your time better, everything was good.
So, Steve and Eric, you guys are both now stay-at-home supportive husbands, I guess.
The heck?
Nathan, I'm getting you. And Nathan, you work outside of the home. You're a 5th grade teacher. So how do you guys deal with having your spouse home every day? Because my husband still leaves to go to work. And I mean, I love him to death, but I don't know that we could be in the same house all day every day. He's not paying attention. Quick, go.
I already worked from home before. I was a wedding photographer for 4 years, so I had already worked from home. I kind of knew how that was. You need to have your workspace. It needs to be separate from the rest of the house, and I had to kind of teach her those rules. If you do a team call in the kitchen, I'm not going to be quiet. That's my space too. You have to be in the office. So, like, and I've told her that multiple times, but she just forgets. You know, I'm not going to tell Scarlett to be quiet in the living room, because that's where she can play. That's where she can have fun. So she kind of had to learn how to work from home, setting work areas, I would say. But being home all the time together, that was having separate hobbies, doing stuff apart. If you're not your own individual person, you're smaller than the other one. So it's just kind of like figuring out your own thing to do.
In my defense, he wanted to be like, it's 12 o'clock, let's snuggle. And I'm like, dude, it's work time. He's like, it's Snuggle City, let's do this. And I'm like, he's like, you worked hard for this dream so we can snuggle more. And I'm like, you know what I mean by snuggle, right? And I'm like, dude, you gotta set work boundaries, work hours, okay? So like, after 6 p.m. we can snuggle, but like before 6, you know, we've gotta, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Scarlett, we invested in Scarlett's childcare so that we can focus on the business and focus on our home and everything like that. So we can't putz around. We've got to really use that time to focus. So we had to set boundaries, like space boundaries too. Like we go do our own things in the house and no snuggling until after 6. You know at 6 what's happening.
I think having a place to go work, like we took one of our bedrooms and made it into an office, and that's been huge. Because then she can go do all of her webinars, Zoom calls, anything like that. But just having a place to go, like for me too, I love workout programs at home, but sometimes I just have to go to the gym because I can't find the motivation. So for her, having an office that's always up and running, I mean, our house can be a disaster, the office is always clean. Just so you can kind of go into that sanctuary. But also, I just leave the house and like I know that if I go golf, she's making us money because I'm gone. So that was good. So I try not to do that too much, but that works too.
He golfs a lot.
I have a job.
Okay, so guys, if your wife could pick up like one extra thing to do around the house, would there be anything that would help you out? Nina, maybe can't talk.
I'm not a shanty. I'm not allowed. I don't know. We have a pretty good system. I don't know. So the kids go to the school that I teach at, so I get them up and get lunches packed and we're out the door. And I usually leave and say, "I need the coffee, Give her a note that says, push it. Push it really. Or some other funny thing. That's true, that happened. So I do all the morning stuff, get the kids up and around, feed our horse and donkey, feed our 2 dogs and 2 cats. Maybe take care of our animals, I don't know. She loves the animals, but not when it's early. That's my job.
So I give her a lot of crap for things she doesn't do. But I guess deep down, I know that it's kind of my job to do. Like, I gave you crap this morning for not having all my jeans washed. That's kind of unfair just because of how much she does do all the time. So even when I have my moments, I try to come back to reality and just figure it out. But
What he really makes is dishes. I don't like doing the dishes at all. My sister comes over and we will, treat her to dinner all the time, but
Sam, you don't have to do that. Okay, thank you.
yeah, it's okay. I like food. I'm like, okay. That's just like my thing, but that's like what drives Steve up a wall. is dishes.
We've been home together for so long that I'm pretty sure we have a pretty smooth go of it. We have a Kendra who lives with us right there, so she's helps out too. But I'd say I do a lot. You clean, and I'll actually notice that she's been cleaning a little too much. I'm like, oh crap, I'm gonna catch wind of that. And so I step it up. The one thing I think I won't do is fold your laundry. I'll wash it, I'll dry it, I'll throw it in a pile on the bed. But I'm just like, it's your closet, it's your space, you have way too much clothes. So that's, but yeah, so you fold your laundry, but other than that, no, we're good.
Pretty much a catch, just so you know.
Good luck.
So what for you guys has been the best thing about Beachbody? Just talk a little bit about how it's impacted your family life.
It's awesome to be such a healthy role model for our daughter. Just this morning, we did quarter force. We were doing it in the basement. We come upstairs, and Scarlett, instead of, because we left her watching cartoon shows. We were like, here, we're gonna work out. Here's a show. Just don't fight. And we come upstairs, and she's doing kids yoga instead. So she had switched that. She probably saw us or knew that or heard us working out. And so she switched to doing that. And small stuff like that is how I realized us being able to be present, us being healthy, positive influences on her life. Like my parents were good parents, but they were not around and very often when I was a kid. We could be the opposite where I could be there all the time. And that's such a great thing that we get to do and be a positive role model. So.
I think for us, it's doing the vital behaviors together really has made such a difference in our relationship. I mean, working out together, drinking our shake together, eating good meals, keeping each other accountable, doing personal development has just made our marriage really good, our relationship great. So that's been huge. I mean, everything we do is kind of rooted in that. So I think that's just the biggest part. But with baby coming, obviously, that would be awesome to be home too.
The money. It makes it easier. Teachers don't make piles of money, but what I love to see in her is the entrepreneurial spirit. She's driven and it just kind of bleeds into other parts of our lives. So we just recently bought a flip house, which is fun. So we're flipping a house and she's doing business and I teach. So working for ourselves is just exciting.
I mean, I will say, just speaking for them, it started as something for me. Like most everybody else, you have your own journey. It leads you to Beachbody, from the O's Body Image Issues. I was gonna rock a bikini, I was never gonna coach or drink Shakeology, you know, all those things. But just watching what it's done with him and the snowball effect, that ripple effect that, you know, at the beginning you don't think it's gonna happen, you're not positive it will. I mean, he's always been supportive, he's always been driven, I've always been the business-minded marketing girl. But, I mean, for him to be flipping a house, he has a summer business where he does decks and remodeling and painting, and that's something that didn't happen prior to Beachbody. I mean, he would do it, but it was like he'd help out. But now it's like, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna make this big, and it's gonna be a business, and I'm gonna listen to these podcasts, and, I mean, he's always positive and supportive, but if it wasn't for this business and this growth plane we've been on, we wouldn't be here today. And that's really cool to see.
It's pretty awesome. All right, so what kind of advice would you guys give to a wife or a husband, boyfriend, girlfriend who has started this business and maybe their husband, I have to cover all those again, but maybe their significant other isn't as supportive or isn't really sure what to believe about the business yet? I know back in the beginning, Jeff probably thought I was crazy when I signed up to do this. So, what kind of advice would you give to someone who's just kind of getting going?
Prove it, I guess. You know, dive in, make it work, make the workouts work for you. Bring home $75. I don't know. You know, prove it. And again, going to Summit was a big change for me hearing Carl speak and hearing you guys speak up on stage like it's the real deal business. It's not just and that was my thing for a long time. What's the longevity of this? What's the, you know, we're so privileged to be so closely connected with Leslie, who's been so successful, and be friends with Anita and Eric and, you know, other folks, and it's just prove it, I guess. Prove that it's real.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me this on our team, women with boyfriends or whatever, and I think the biggest thing you can do is just, like I said, just prove it. Go 100 miles an hour and be successful on your own, and they will take notice. I mean, Jamie didn't ask me to support her the day that she signed up, and I probably wouldn't have really in some capacity, but with her just making it successful before it was even on my radar, it was a no-brainer. So if you guys are killing your workouts and your lives are changing, nobody's not going to support you. So that's the biggest thing. Is just take it to heart. The business side for sure. If you're kind of putzing around, pretending like you're doing it, I wouldn't ask for support. But if you're going 1,000,000 miles an hour, they're just going to notice for sure. That's fine.
Yeah, with the business opportunity, it was, there's no way to prove it until you're actually doing something about it. If you're hitting a Success Club, if you're making, you know, a little bit of money out of it, you know that you can scale it up and it's something that you can do successfully, then why wouldn't somebody be supportive of that? If you're a year in, you haven't sold the challenge bag, and you're not drinking your Shakeology, then your husband's probably gonna be like, you're not doing what you said you were doing, and then there's a point to that. So if you can prove that you can be successful, and you can stick with it, and you're losing weight, and it's either making you healthier or just happier, because most people feel good after a workout, then who wouldn't be supportive of that? I see the other big question that we get is, how can I make my boyfriend or husband work out with me? And you can't. Just like you can't make your friends work out with you. Like you don't see people online being like, hey fatty, come on work out. Because that doesn't work. They need to see you working out. They need to see you having results, be a positive influence, and then eventually you're gonna be like, I want to do that too. That's the only thing you can do. Is you can be a role model for your kids. You can be a role model for your spouse. You can be a good example.
The second I stop eating clean and healthy, he starts eating Oreo cookies. That's how much of an example I am in my household. He's like, pizza, Fazoli's, Taco Bell. And I'm like, what the heck just happened?
Five guys.
Five guys, like, that's how you have to set the example.
I know it. Yeah, yesterday. She's like, that's Scarlett's candy. I'm like, mine right now.
So I feel like I can speak to that started. I started as a customer first. I was doing a program, I bought my program. It was Chalene Extreme, which most of you in here, if you're familiar with Chalene Extreme, it's like a chip program, right? But I was like 2 weeks into it, and I was constantly talking about how sore I